This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Carbonite. Coming up on Destructoid, Rayman Legends is delayed and Tara is pissed. SimCity is getting another beta and you need to sign up soon. And J.J. Abrams is doing HalfLife and Portal movies. What is this madness? Find out right now on Destructoid Live.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Friday, Max.
Happy professional business vest and tie day.
I know. You are looking quite dapper today.
I look like an Old West lawyer, cowboy journalist of the internet.
Way to make me look shitty.
Well, nice t-shirt with a skeleton lady on it,
Thank
Tara.
you. It's actually pretty cool.
It's a nice shirt. I'm not being sarcastic. Anyway, it is a Friday, if you were unaware, and that means that we are feeling stupid and irresponsible, so we're going to give you, our stupid and irresponsible viewers, a present. I'm just kidding, you're not stupid. We love you. This week we've got a Steam code for a copy of Darksiders, which was ever so kindly donated by Evil Genius 04. And if you would like to win this computer game, all you need to do is go on the Twitter machine and bang your little fingers on the computer word buttons, the keyboard, called by some, so that it spells out the following. I'm watching @Dtoid Show live at youtube.com/Dtoid to win a copy of Darksiders. You have to make it say that, and then just something to that effect. You tag us, and then you link to the thing, and then we will pick a winner at the end of the show, and then give them a copy of the game.
If you missed it, we'll paste it again in the chat throughout the show, so you guys know what to say.
Nick is in the chat, and he is keeping an eye on all of you, so don't step out of line or you'll get in trouble. But yeah, the idea of the Twitter thing is all your shitty little friends have no choice but to click on the link and then come watch our show. It's a trick. We have to bribe you with games. Also, if you guys have any codes that you want to donate to the show, we get requests on Twitter for that occasionally. We love to give codes away, and if you have any extras on Steam or whatever, and you want to chip them in, just send them to show@destructoid.com.
Yeah, it's always nice when people send us things for our fans.
We don't keep them, we give them out to you.
Totally. We have enough games on our own.
Now, news.
Yes, so if you guys have been keeping up with news at all this week, then you probably heard the rather unfortunate announcement that Rayman Legends has been delayed until September. Not only that, it's going multi-platform. What a surprise. I don't mean that sarcastically. This is actually a surprise. This was originally supposed to be a Wii U exclusive, but now it's going to be releasing on Xbox, PS3, and Wii U simultaneously in September. Now, based on everything I've seen of the game so far, which, by the way, is great, I sort of assumed it wouldn't be ready by February because it didn't look like it was going to be ready by February. Well, apparently, the Wii U version actually is finished and ready to ship, but it won't for reasons related to it going multi-platform. And that information came straight from a Ubisoft PR rep, so it's definitely not speculation. We know for sure that's the reason. Meanwhile, the fans, particularly those who purchased a Wii U specifically for this game, are pissed. Many of them are now bombing Ubisoft's Facebook page with mean comments and threats of boycotting, and not just because of the delay either. There also seems to be a lot of vitriol directed at the fact that the game is no longer a Wii U exclusive, which I think a lot of hardcore Nintendo fans are interpreting as a big fuck you to the company and its console.
You should have bought 3 Wii U's each.
Yeah, seriously. So one of the developers from Ubisoft Montpellier who make the game posted an anonymous reply on a Spanish message board last night asking people to please don't blame the developer for this, blame the publisher. His post was translated into English by NeoGAF user let's go with Behe. He said, quote, "What face do you think we had when the week we had to close the game, we're being told it's not going to be released? I couldn't believe it. For us, this means we've spent 6 months barely seeing our wives, kids, and friends for nothing because after all, such haste wasn't needed. Believe it, it was hell to swallow this news." So he went on to add that Rayman Legends was and still will be an excellent game and pleaded with fans to not turn their back on it just because some men in ties one day took a wrong choice. And then he concluded his post by adding that this industry is really that shitty. It is shitty, and as shitty as this situation is, and you guys know more than anyone how much I've been looking forward to this game, the dude's right. I mean, it's easy to hear news like this and be upset about it, but we really need to be more careful about who our anger is actually directed towards. I mean, developers have virtually no say in how their games are marketed and launched despite popular opinion, and I can't imagine pouring your heart and soul into something for years and crunching really hard the past 6 months only to have some dude in a suit tell you, oh, just kidding, you know, that was a waste of time. Now begins the real crunch time. Like, it sucks. It really sucks. And the worst part is, even after all the fuss, Ubisoft, they still don't get it. They still don't care or understand. They posted on Facebook a couple hours ago that they've listened to people's complaints and that their solution is to work with the development team to create a new exclusive demo for the Wii U soon. That is the solution they came up with. Give your employees yet more work to do so a bunch of people who already know that they want to buy the game and just want to buy it already can play a demo for it. This is literally the best solution they could have come up with. Is every single person in your company drunk, Ubisoft? There has to be another reason for this. Like, there has to be something that they're not telling us. I refuse to believe otherwise.
I think they don't get Rayman. I think they don't know why people like Rayman. If you remember Rayman Origins, that was released the same day as Assassin's Creed Revelations, and it like succeeded in spite of itself. That was released the same day as Revelations, which was released the same week as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Stuff like that happens all the time in gaming, and I'm not going to say that Rayman exactly has the same audience as a game like Modern Warfare 3 or even Revelations, really, but like.
But the same day for their two games, their two biggest games of the thing, they just put them.
Yeah. And Rayman Origins was a really well-received game, and it also did not have the greatest marketing either, which is part of the reason that it didn't do so well. So this is just like, I can't believe how daft they're being with regards to any of this.
You are flustered.
I'm angry, man.
Well,
I'm gonna punch something.
Wow, well, don't punch me.
Start your next story.
Okay, next story. Shifting gears here. Last week, or whenever it was, I don't really keep track anymore, we learned that J.J. Abrams was jumping from the Trek to the Wars, and that he would be in charge of Star Wars Episode 7, and you'd think this would be enough to make all the nerds collectively fill their pants with just all manner of bodily fluids, but apparently, Abrams really wants those nerd pants thoroughly soiled. It has been announced that J.J. Abrams and Valve Software are working together on feature film adaptations of HalfLife and Portal.
Oh.
Yeah. Abrams spoke to Polygon saying that plans for movies set in the universes of these beloved games are in the early stages, and noting that this announcement is, quote unquote, as real as anything in Hollywood gets, which, I don't know what that's saying. I mean,
what does that mean?
I guess that means it's a thing until it's not a thing, or until it is a thing. Or, I don't know, kid, it's Chinatown. Gabe Newell has voiced his concerns in the past about turning Half-Life into a movie, and Abrams seems really well aware of the perils of, when video games and movies collide. And he told Polygon that our goal here is to treat the world Valve has created in both these properties like anyone would a book or some great story that comes from a pitch or original script. Just to treat it with the respect that they treat their games and their players with, which sounds like he really gets it. Meanwhile, Abrams is also talking about developing a game with Valve, and this is all while he's also doing Star Wars Episode 7. He's got some high hopes. The man is keeping himself busy, and he's definitely keeping himself trending on Twitter. Personally, I'm excited about all this news, but that could change very quickly. And as much fun as it is to just get on board the hype train and just get all real excited about wherever that hype train is going, let's just remember to keep our expectations in check.
Yes.
But that being said, it would be pretty cool to see a Half-Life movie that
really
was done with care and concern. So.
Yeah, I'm not holding out much hope for that, but there is a sliver.
They should get Paul W.S. Anderson to do it.
They should.
He made all the Resident Evil movies himself. He put his wife in them, in corsets. Your turn, Tara.
Yes, my turn. From that to SimCity. So a few weeks ago, I told you guys about the SimCity beta that had happened on January 25th. If for some reason you guys missed out on that, you are in luck because Maxis has scheduled yet another closed beta for the weekend of February 16th, although this one will be a bit shorter than the last. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on February 16th and will run until 9 a.m. the following day, so exactly 24 hours. This will also still be limited to an hour of playtime, kind of like the last one, and of course you'll be able to play that as many times as you want over and over again. It's also supposed to be an enhanced version of the same beta that they had last time, although no one really is clear on what exactly that means. I don't think Maxis has really divulged much. So those of you who do want to register to participate will have to do so by February 11th. That's next Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And like last time, you can do so at simcity.com/beta. If you guys are pumped for this game like I am, then chances are you've been watching whatever gameplay videos you can get your hands on. I don't blame you. And if that's the case, then what's one more? What's one more? You should go watch the guest appearance that I made on Techzilla this week where I chatted with the lovely Veronica Belmont about the game. She's also very excited for it. So feel free to go watch that. Maybe leave a comment about how svelte she looks in her totally slimming and figure-flattering top. Somebody in the comments asked if she was pregnant, and then she got really upset. So
you guys are charming.
she
sometimes.
looks lovely.
You guys meaning the internet. I'm not singling you. Our viewers are gentlemen who wear ties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who tell me to stick Slim
Also-
Jims in my cleavage.
Oh boy. Well, yeah. Also, one thing worth noting is that Origin, the EA service thing, is now available on Mac. So
Oh, yeah.
the three of you out there who are interested in that product, go nuts. So a thing happened this week at DICE. That's the thing that happens. It's like a video game industry thing. Amidst a bunch of keynotes and industry gossip, Zombie Studios, the guys behind Blacklight Retribution and the goofy downloadable title Special Forces Team X, which just came out a couple days ago, announced their new game, and it's called Daylight. And it is a horror game where players take on the role of a nameless woman who wakes up in a spooky abandoned mental institution, and she must find her way out. And that sounds, kind of forgettable, but what sets this game apart is that the level design is procedurally generated. Daylight is meant to be played through in about 30 minutes, but with an emphasis on replayability. So every playthrough is unique because the levels kind of redesign themselves. Players kind of piece the story together by discovering scraps of paper and case files and things like that scattered through the level, and you kind of gather the story like that. Of course, this asylum, as you might have guessed, is haunted, and the players will be pursued by phantoms, which they have no way of fighting. You've got no weapons in this game. This is just straight up, you've got a cell phone, which is used as a light and a compass, and it'll start acting weird when phantoms are nearby, kind of a la Silent Hill. But you can get road flares, which you can sort of wave around to scare off phantoms, but they'll also cast crazy dynamic shadows, which will make it almost even more disorienting. It's probably worth mentioning that Daylight is also running on Unreal Engine 4, which is kind of what's making all this crazy procedurally generated whatsits and the dynamic none such possible. Zombie Studios is only the second studio to announce working with Unreal 4 after Square Enix, and Daylight would be our first look at what Epic's new engine is actually capable of. On top of that, it's also worth noting that Daylight is being written by Jessica Chobot, known for her video reporting on IGN and G4, and this seems to be making a lot of people make a face sort of like this, but give her a chance, guys. She finally unblocked me on Twitter for making fun of her role in Mass Effect 3.
Is that the only reason you're telling them to give her a chance?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be nice, man. But yeah. So it's it sounds sort of like a roguelike version of Slender with some kind of really fancy graphics to go with it. Or check this out. It's next-gen first-person Miss Pac-Man. Think about it. You are a lady and you're running around in a maze and there's ghosts chasing you. And hopefully there are also fruit scattered around this abandoned loony bin. Maybe some pills that you can eat so that you can then eat the ghosts.
I think I'd have to take a lot of acid to really understand that comparison. But
Ghost Maze.
I'm willing to accept the
Ghost
challenge.
Maze with the lady in it. Anyway, yeah, this, I don't know, it sounds interesting.
Sounds like a very interesting thing. I don't really think I've heard of a game quite like that. It's also very curious that she's penning it. Is she getting into game development now? Is she officially left media? Who knows? She's having a baby.
She's still working in it. Okay, Jessica Chobot gossip time. Can't just talk about the Ghost Maze.
What do you think of her hair?
I'm excited about the engine running this game and the dynamic lighting and the roguelike elements of this game, but you have to just make it a total...
I'm really curious to see what her hair is going to look like in it.
A tabloid. Yeah, okay.
So we're going to take just a second to thank our sponsor, and then we'll be back with more news.
Indeed.
Yes. So everyone has files that they want to protect, but let's face it, most of us are lazy. Fortunately, Carbonite's online backup makes it easy to protect your pictures and other files from any kind of computer disaster imaginable. Just set it up once and it will automatically and continually back your files up off-site so you never have to remember to do it again. Plus, you can access your backed up files privately from any computer or on your smartphone or iPad with a free Carbonite app. With Carbonite, unlimited backup space for your PC or Mac is just $59 a year, but you watch our show, so they're hooking you up with a free trial, absolutely no credit card required. What's more, when you visit Carbonite.com and use the offer code Destructoid, you can get 2 bonus months free if you decide to buy. Again, that's Carbonite.com, and the offer code for 2 free months is Destructoid.
You can take all your photographs of Harrison Ford and literally freeze them in Carbonite.
Yes, don't lose those, please.
Yeah, they're important. Okay, so I mentioned DICE was going on. I didn't really explain what that is. I stammered a bunch of words like industry and gaming or something. But then I realized that I don't actually know what it is really myself. It is a thing. It is DICE. It stands for Design, Innovate, Communicate, and Entertain, and it is a big summit put on by the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences, and they do like an award show to celebrate all of the good stuff, and needless to say, we were not invited, ever. Yeah. So I would love to run down the winners this year, but it's really just faster to say one game and then run down the categories that it won, and the game is Journey, And out of the 11 categories it was nominated for, it won Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, Outstanding Achievement in Online Gameplay, Outstanding Innovation in Gaming, Casual Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction, Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition, Outstanding Achievement in Sound Design, and of course, Game of the Year. My goodness, look at all those.
8 out of 11.
It's so outstanding. Now, I know that Journey's kind of a controversial title among gamers. The common argument seems to be, but it's not a game, which is really just kind of an irrelevant argument since it is an interactive piece of electronic multimedia entertainment software. So just until we have a shorter way of saying whatever that is, can we just please just call it a video game? Because
also, because it's actually a video game, like just because you
got it
don't think
on
it's
the
a video game
PlayStation.
does not mean it's not a video game.
Anyway,
it's a video game.
It's totally fine if you're not into Journey. It's whimsical and artsy, and it's not really action-packed, and that's not really what we've come to expect from games, but that's sort of the point. I think that the reason people keep making a big fuss about Journey is it did a bunch of stuff differently, and that's why it's worth getting excited about. So I don't want to get super preachy here, but even if you don't like something yourself, just try and keep an open mind and maybe try to understand why people like it and why people make a big fuss about it instead of accusing them of being hipsters just because they said they enjoyed it. Anyway, rant over.
In their defense, people have accused me of being a hipster because I wore a scarf once, so I don't know if I really trust their judgment on that. Actually, Genova Chen, the co-founder of That Game Company, actually gave a talk at the DICE Summit this year about Journey, and it was really interesting because, and I don't think many people know this, but they actually went bankrupt during the final year of development on Journey. Sony apparently gave them 2 years to complete the game, and at the end of those 2 years, they realized it wasn't quite up to the emotional standards that they'd hoped to set. The previous ending, which is not the ending that's in the game now, wasn't testing well with playtesters, so they went back and they asked Sony for an extra year. Sony gave them an extra year, but of course the game ended up taking even longer than that. It was almost 4 years in total, I think. And during that last 6 months, a lot of the studio's employees ended up just working for free just to finish the game and get it to a point where they were really satisfied with it. And that's what ended up driving the company into bankruptcy. Now, fair warning, I'm about to spoil the end of Journey. So if you haven't played Journey yet, please mute your sound right now. I will wave my hands wildly like this when I'm done talking about Journey, so you will know when to unmute your computer screens, okay?
Be careful.
We good?
Okay.
Okay, so what I thought was particularly interesting about the talk was the fact that in the earlier versions of the game, apparently the character did reach the summit at the end, and playtesters, that's like what they didn't respond well to. But it wasn't until one of the games crashed right before he reaches the summit during one of the playtesting sessions that they realized the game is actually much more emotionally impactful if the character doesn't reach the summit and then dies right beforehand instead. So apparently, when they put that in, they saw so much more of like an emotional response to the ending. Like apparently 3 out of the 25 people who played it cried at the end. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I cried too. I'm a woman. Also, the ending was originally on rails before they decided to make it free roaming, in the end where you sort of like slow down and then sort of creep to a slow death. So I thought that was very interesting. Okay, I'm done. So yeah.
Spoiler alert is over. Wow,
I know
if anybody actually heard that and they hadn't played the game, it sounded so dumb the way you were describing it.
Yeah.
Video games sound stupid when you talk about them.
Describe an artistic game in words is not the easiest thing to do. I just thought that was a really interesting story. You can probably find a recording of his talk online somewhere, and if you're into Journey, I really recommend watching it. And if you're not into Journey or you haven't played Journey, just go play it. We've told you a million times now, there's no excuse. Unless you don't want to, in which case you are a terrible person.
We're not just getting paid by, Genova Chen and That Game Company because they don't have any damn money.
Yeah.
They're bankrupt.
Well, they do now.
Bunch of starving artists. Anyway, we got some questions from you guys. Let's see. Regarding the J.J. Newell and the Star Portals movie series.
J.J. Jabin.
Yeah, J.J. Gabin. Stuff Worth Seeing said, after the short film, I can see a Portal flick working all right, but don't much understand how you could put out a Half-Life movie at this point without risking disappointing a lot of dedicated fans.
Am I the only one who feels like a Portal movie is kind of weird? Like, it's a game based around an interesting physics mechanic. Nothing more.
That's kind of the thing about their games in general, is that like Half-Life has like a pretty cool universe it's in, but it works because it's a game.
It's
like
story driven though.
Yeah,
it's
I mean it's.
I don't see Portal and think, man, I'd really love to see like a gritty, realistic Portal movie. I mean, it could be done.
I'd like to see a movie about Cave Johnson.
Dan Trachtenberg made that interesting Portal short fan film last year, and that did really well. Yeah,
I think that's what he's talking about. Anyway, yeah, Ken Pham just says, LOL, Gordon Freeman talking. They're just going to release a TED Talk. They're going to get the actual Gordon Freeman, and he's going to be like, hi, I'm actually the CEO of Valve Software. I've been in hiding for the last 16 years. Here's how I made the Source Engine 3.
And then he turns around and there's a valve on the back of his head.
Whoa, yeah, that's the twist ending.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we have anything?
And then you find out it's produced by M. Night Shyamalan instead.
Xips, regarding the Journey thing, Xips123 says, LOL, this looks funny muted. Man, that's some good questions.
I often watch our show muted.
I'm sure, yeah, that would be the best way to watch it. Do we have a winner?
Oh, do we have a contest winner?
Do we have a winner? Who's the winner?
Contest winner?
Where's the winner? Okay, the winner will be announced on Twitter because Nick forgot to pick a contest winner. Nick.
Yeah, twitter.com/dtoidshow
Yeah,
if you don't know. This has been kind of an extraordinarily long show. I hope you're all happy because it's your fault. You're the reason Mommy and Daddy drink these refreshing cups of water. Electrolytes.
Is there electrolytes in water? You guys should follow us on Twitter, where we say even stupider things on an even more regular basis. I'm Max Scoville, she's Tara Longus. The show is Dtoid Show on there. This is the end of our Friday live show. We love you very much. Have a great weekend. If you're in New England, don't go in the snow, because it's lava. We'll be back here on Tuesday.